many people are aware of what's happening globally with hemp and how hemp is being transformed into many things, many which were done a long time ago, like paper and different types of materials. And now we have hempcrete construction. We have hemp CBD, which Divina will talk about. And we also have cannabis, which is a very ancient plant that I know Carmen is going to give us a little bit of history. But we also have a whole regeneissance happening around our attitudes towards cannabis and how it's being used as a medicine, and also a lot of the legislation that seems to be changing right now in the United States. And our next presenter is working on a lot of different fronts. Plus, he's also a media creator, and he does many things. But I want to welcome from Seed to Change, Michael Kamp.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael, so much for allowing me to be here and speak. And yeah, you said a good word, regenesis. A lot of think it's just Mother Earth, but it's us people, right? So the level of the power of the plant's amazing. And I feel with the regenesis of each individual that having an endocannabinoid system and fulfilling its needs is a necessity. So cannabism or cannabis, marijuana, weed, ganja, whatever individuals may call it, is all the same plant and has the purpose for full abundance, from food to fuel to medicinal to industrial and everything in between. So I'm proud to be the chief or the global positioning strategist for the United Empowerment Party, which is a FEC recognized political entity founded upon cannabis. It was founded by Safita Artis Mills and her brother Reggie Noble, that the world knows as Redman. Also the Illinois State Director for the National Industrial Hemp Coalition, and a couple more titles that go along with the things that I do. Ideally, saving the planet for the plant with the plant, like I discussed before, is the purpose. We do it through edutainment, a combination of education and entertainment because of attention span of the average human being. Seedthechange.live is a website for our event. It is a community cultivation challenge that was built to educate, inform. I like to say re-educate individuals, but sometimes it's the first time they're hearing about Gaia therapeutic solution, regenerative aspects, and actually how to make the planet a better place. So Seed the Change is what I call a arc of an event of that's an arc of springboards. So ideally we're running until December 21st, which is the solstice, and to educate people on solstice, equinox, once again the Gaia therapeutic, so I guess examples of how things are and how we can learn from Mother Earth to make it a better place and repair what we've destroyed. Legislation, like Michael was talking, is huge. The United Empowerment Party is the only cannabis focused political entity, and we were just at National Cannabis Fest in DC over the weekend, meeting with politicians, local all the way to federal, learning about what the legislations that is that they're changing, so we can be more prepped for I guess the rebound from the attacks, because the stigma against the plant is ridiculous. And in my research and understanding and belief, it is the one main plant that can save this planet from global broiling, and so we can have an Earth for Earth Day and for all the inhabitants in it. So one of the biggest goals, plant as much cannabis across the globe, replace the monoterpenes that are no longer provided by the boreal forests and the phytoplankton that we've successfully destroyed half of each, and getting it in the hands of everybody where it's legal, and then changing those legislation and the legislation and laws where it is not. So people can have the ability to grow food, create hemp oil and hemp seed oil and fibers and whatever other products they may need for a higher quality of life. I guess little details about Seed the Change and how are we going to make an impact. So I've corralled and I've scoured the earth, if you will, in the digital realms for subject matter experts, ranging across all industries and all purposes to help empower their purpose, their movement, and group them together in 24 judges, 24 special guests, 24 artists, and utilizing this platform that's been created to continue to raise and empower the individuals themselves and then the purposes that they are doing to make this a better world for others.
All right, everyone. Well, let me just start by saying, again, this is just such an incredible day. And I think it's amazing all the work that everyone is doing. And, it's an honor to be here. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos, hola. I'm just thrilled to be a part of this here with all of you today. And you'll hear the announcement about our official Divina World Foundation, of which I'm the founder and the chair. So I'm going to just let that happen in a little bit. But again, thank you to Green to Gold, Earthstock, and Regenerative Media TV for hosting this impactful virtual Earth Day celebration. And, one of these things, one of the things that happens for these types of presentations and these conversations is it really fills me with this sense of gratitude. Estoy muy agradecida. Honestly, I can't think of anything else that I'd rather be doing, truly. But for the next few minutes, I'm going to switch gears. And as some of you all know now, my name is Carmen Milagro, but what you may not know is that I'm a master certified wellness and hemp CBD coach. I'm a consultant and an advocate, and I host a Wellness 360 health coaching series. Plus, I'm the author of Truths About Hemp CBD, a guidebook for curious folks, as well as the creator of a more in-depth online course by the same name. I'm also the co-founder of Online CBD University, which Michael mentioned, and that's powered by one of the largest ed tech companies in Mexico and Latin America. So all of you cannabis and hemp expert out there who want to create your own courses, you're all invited to do so within our CBD University umbrella. But the reason that I created the hemp CBD guidebook and the online course is because, as Michael mentioned, there's this worldwide, there's so many misconceptions, there's so many untruths and stigma around hemp CBD and its users. And I thought, because I'm a storyteller, I'd take this opportunity to sort of take you around the world in this story about hemp CBD. I do believe that everyone on the planet should have the opportunity to learn about the basics of hemp and hemp medicine. After all, you don't just go out and author the world's greatest novel without first learning your ABCs. So today I'm sharing with you the story of hemp around the world, culminating in its arrival in the USA. And it's my hope that folks that are watching who are still on the fence about hemp CBD will learn and understand more about hemp CBD and hemp and its global multicultural odyssey. Now, I do want to state before I get started, and I'd like to emphasize, I am not a CBD therapist and I'm not a doctor. So you may, of course, accept or reject any of the information that I'm going to share with you. I also highly recommend that you draw upon your own intellect and your own research. It's important to do deep dive when you're learning new information and practice your due diligence to make your own decisions about hemp CBD and well, any wellness topic actually. So today's story was designed to help all of the newbies out there start their journey into the world of hemp CBD by learning some of the basics, but I'm covering the origin and some reported uses of hemp throughout history and in different cultures, and how we're connected around the world as humans by this medicinal plant. Did you know that some records show that the cultivation of cannabis and hemp dates back approximately 10,000 years? And it's most likely one of the first crops planted by early man. The Chinese culture used hemp to make paper about 6,000 to 8,000 years ago. And hemp paper was durable and water resistant, so it was used to document works of art and the scholarly text in ancient herbal medical books. And some emperors used cannabis as well as hemp tea to treat their arthritis, gout, pain, and memory disorders. And there are also reports that these emperors' doctors were the first to describe the medicinal properties of cannabis and hemp. Nomadic tribes brought both these plants from China into Central Asia, Korea, Japan, and India. Buddhist as well as Hindu practitioners embraced this plant medicine. Some of the ancient plant medicine instructionals from India documented the many uses of both the plants as well. And records indicate that ancient Egyptians used both hemp and cannabis to reduce the growth of tumors way back then. It's also been found that Greek and Roman doctors prescribed hemp and cannabis for many different ailments. So once the Greeks and the Romans incorporated these medicinal plants into their cultures, well, it's pretty easy to see why hemp's popularity grew around the globe. Hemp was also used in ceremonial rituals and for medicinal purposes in parts of Africa and Arabia as well. And then later on, the Spanish and the Portuguese brought cannabis and hemp into Brazil, as well as into other parts of Central and South America. And from there, you spread up north into Mexico and across the Caribbean. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think it's fair to say that many of our indigenous peoples became the guardians of hemp medicine. And once hemp arrived into North America, roughly around the 1600s, King James demanded the American colonies support England by growing hemp, which had a long history of being a cash crop for England. So right around the 1700s, hemp was among the top cultivated crops in the US to be farmed to this level, and then it became the cash crop for the US as well. And by the late 1700s, Britain also began to heavily tax hemp and cannabis products, which were very popular commodities all over the world. And it's reported that one of our founding fathers, George Washington, much preferred cannabis to alcohol. And there's ample documentation about his hemp farms at Mount Vernon in Virginia. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson also grew hemp, the latter at Monticello. And Betsy Ross made the first flag for the newly formed United States of America using industrial hemp. And here's a little fun factoid. I don't know that many people might remember this or know this, but Kentucky became the #1 hemp producing state in the country at one point in our history. In the 1800s, Sir John Russell Reynolds, Queen Victoria's personal and very well-respected doctor in the Victorian era England, praised cannabis so much that he published a paper on the effectiveness of cannabis and the effect of hemp for his patients. That's how much he relied and believed in the healing properties for his patients. And up until the Prohibition era of the 1920s, it was common to find both cannabis and hemp tinctures, not only in apothecaries and pharmacies like you would think, but in general stores across the nation. Let me repeat that because, these plants have been demonized for a while, but it wasn't that long ago. It was up until the Prohibition era. Both cannabis and hemp tinctures were available at local neighborhood stores. And until 1937, medical doctors in the US actually used to prescribe cannabis for some heart issues. So this is just a brief overview of hemp's tour around the world throughout history and how different cultures are more united than not in this hemp odyssey. And of course, if you're so inclined and you'd like to learn more, you can simply go to mycbduniversity.com. One question that I get asked all the time is, why do I focus only on hemp and hemp CBD? During these last few years of research, I learned that approximately 20% of the population is allergic to THC, which is found as a compound in cannabis and marijuana. I finally found the explanation for why I had such an adverse reaction to just being around others who were smoking cannabis. I'm one of those people who's allergic to THC, and I'm also allergic to smoke. So therefore, I'm not going to presume to speak to you about the properties or benefits of cannabis CBD. There are other experts in cannabis and THC, and if you're looking for more information about that topic, I'm really happy to defer you to them. My primary focus is on the use of hemp CBD as a topical, the application of hemp CBD products onto your skin, which is the largest organ that we have. And before I end this little mini session, I'd like to go over a few of the known benefits of hemp CBD as per Michael's request. So studies have shown
And
that,
Carmen, excuse me, really
yes.
briefly, for people who might not know, can you explain the difference between hemp CBD and again cannabis CBD? Because that's something maybe people don't understand.
Sure, I think it's really, and again, this is basic, right? This is just basic information. The two plants are actually quite different. They're cousin plants. They look very similar. They certainly smell very much the same, but the hemp plant, right, doesn't have the THC component, or it does. Let me rephrase that. It has 0.003. But so it's not really known for mind altering properties, whereas the cannabis plant, the marijuana plant, does have the higher levels of the THC, which does tend to, for most people, create a mind altering experience. So that's the basic general difference. For some people, hemp CBD serves as an anticonvulsant, and it helps to suppress seizure activity in some cases. For other people, it may serve as an antiemetic and helps to reduce nausea without the mind-altering effects. And this can be especially comforting for our cancer warriors. Hemp CBD also has antioxidants and may help in the fight against neurodegenerative disorders. Hemp CBD may act as an antidepressant and help some people by reducing anxiety. And for some, it might also help to combat psychosis disorders. And still other people have found that hemp CBD has helped their pets. Hemp CBD has also been reported to have anti-inflammatory properties, and it helps in pain management by helping to reduce nerve and muscle pain for many people. That's why I've also founded Divina, not to be confused with Divina World Foundation, but Divina is my project that is a for-profit company, and I was able to create Soothe BioRF. Soothe BioRF is my hemp CBD roll-on muscle recovery system that's encoded with my patent-pending, music-based bioresonance frequency process, which is designed to help people live healthier lives with less inflammation in their bodies. And you can learn more about that at my website. Well, you'll pretty much find everything Carmen Milagro, and that's divina.store. So I know that we have the video that we're going to play, but I also just wanted to do this quick review because there are some reported studies, and these are some of the reported studies of hemp CBD. But I think it's really important in education and the edutainment and the world of cannabis and hemp CBD and cannabis CBD. It's that there isn't a cure. This is not a one cure-all for everything. Hemp CBD is not a cure-all, nor is hemp CBD good for everybody, because every single person will have a different experience with hemp CBD or cannabis. And I can't stress this enough. Like I said earlier, people should always do their research. Your health, your family's health may depend on it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I hope that you got some information that is helpful to you, especially what we're trying to do, right? What I'm trying to do through education and edutainment, just like Michael, is just getting information out there on different levels, different different platforms. Sorry, lost my brain there for a minute, but just so that we can share this information, not just in one community or for one age group, but for all of our communities, our Latino, our Hispanic communities, our women over 60 communities, our, natural path and natural plant medicine users. We need to be able to, I believe, to take these platforms and these opportunities to share the wealth of knowledge that everyone on this broadcast has, all these speakers, amazing people doing incredible work. So just thank you again for having this opportunity to be with you today. Muchas gracias. Muchas bendiciones a todos. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for allowing me to share this. And I hope we got the video queued up.
But as part of Earthstock Foundation and our event in August, we have a whole council of what we call wisdom keepers that we've been putting together over the last few months for spiritual advisorship and guidance as we generate this event. And I will put it in the chat, but you can go to earthstockfestival.com. But we're doing a 7-day eco-spiritual summit in Crestone, Colorado. And we're looking at potentially 300 to 400 or 500 people. But in recognizing the importance of traditional knowledge, indigenous knowledge, and wisdom keepers, we have a council that's kind of helping to consult as we work towards this event. And actually, before I was in Palenque, I had the opportunity to meet her. But I wanted to, out of respect for her as a, we all have wisdom, but she's a wisdom keeper and also a lineage holder in the Maya tradition. I wanted to see if Claudia would come on, and since it's Earth Day, just maybe share some words and maybe even a prayer with all of us here while I ferret through the archives trying to find the link so we can show the video for Carmen. So are you there?
I heard my name called. Thank you so much, Michael. I
Great.
am here.
Great. Would you be willing to come on camera and maybe just share a prayer or some thoughts for us on Earth Day from, I mean, you walk in many worlds, but from your perspective, we would be honored.
Thank you. Yeah, right now I'm coming to you from Ontario, Canada. So I love this conversation that we're having. Thank you for presenting this, Carmen. I think all our plant medicines are extremely important. This natural medicine that we've been given by Pachamama, without having the pharmaceutical companies involved in manipulating them and profiting from them the way they have been, is extremely important. Over my lifetime, I've had the unfortunate luck of having 3 car accidents. So one of my medicines is actually cannabis. And I'm very, very grateful to be able to use it for inflammation and for different things and reasons that you mentioned. So, this is the beauty that comes from our Mother Earth. And, these medicines, everything again used in a proper way and in balance is what's key too. And a lot of the traditional medicines, the way they were used, it was not necessarily abused. In this day and age, everybody, wants to have a fun trip with something, or, just to kind of experience it, not looking at, does it work for your body? Is my body, being called to it? Is the medicine calling me? Um, so absolutely, I'm in deep appreciation for the work that our brothers and sisters are doing out there with all of the plant medicines. Thank you. Infinite Spirit, Great Creator, Mother, Ukushale, Ukushka, Heart of the Heavens, Heart of the Earth, we give you thanks. For between you, you hold all of this beauty. and give us the ability to walk upon this earth between the heart of the heavens and the heart of the earth. There's so much beauty, so much nourishment, so much abundance, so much strength, and so much support that is given to us. May we continue to take care of our Mother Earth. May we continue to find and walk in deep respect for her and all of our trees and plant allies, our creepy crawlers, our four-leggeds, all of those who inhabit Mother Earth. May we walk in harmony together, in peace, in love. Let us know that there is abundance available for everyone. But even though there's this abundance, may we be humble, and may we be respectful. We give thanks to Mother Earth. Aho, Dios. You are muted, Michael.
Great, thank you. We, as always, appreciate your spiritual advisorship and presence and incredible empathic communicative abilities. And yeah, you, in the time we've known each other, I just deeply honored to have you in my life and as a sister. So thank you. So I will say, you know, my phone is blowing up with people saying, where's the link? Is it now? Is it later? And I have to say, I'm in production right now. And part of my mantra is I'm not going to cat herd anymore. I want to work with lions. I want to work with people who show up. I want to work with people who commit and follow through. I want to, you know, and again, I know things happen in life. I'm totally sympathetic to that. But I think in doing the level of weaving that we're doing and the sacred container that we're working within and the importance of not only us building and strengthening and synergizing our community, but reaching out to people who are still, you know, swimming in corporate media. They might not have heard some of this information. You certainly won't see a lot of this on your corporate news or on broadcast channels. So I just wanted to express my commitment and the dedication to this whole event today, as far as bringing together projects and people and organizations that want to show up and want to weave together. And again, that runs the spectrum, even though many couldn't make it today, because there's another eighth fire, sacred fire happening today. There's, of course, many Earth Day celebrations. And then, of course, people are working in other time zones, that there's impossibilities for people to be up at 3 a.m. But nonetheless, that we're moving forward in unity, and we're moving forward in coherence and also in transparency. And I think this is really important before I go on, and I'm seeing if Carmen's sending the link for that video, that we have to come together in the spirit, first and foremost, of reconciliation. In my humble opinion, none of us are perfect, and a lot of us have good intentions, and sometimes we do things that bring to light our own deficiencies or our own lack of having peripheral vision to be able to be more conscious, more aware, and more respectful. But nonetheless, since the lighting of the eighth fire in Eagle Condor, and me having the ability to attend in Palenque and meeting other peoples, and the recent eclipse and spring equinox, and this whole idea of new earth and moving forward. And this was discussed on the call the other day with the individual and indigenous land sovereignty group, is that we have to reconcile. We have to not just clean up the earth, we have to clean up our past. And we do that by having humility to realize that maybe ourselves or our ancestors have done things that have been maybe less than honorable. I live here in North America. My ancestors are from Italy, and on my mother's side, French native. I feel I'm native because I'm from North America and I'm indigenous from the earth, but I don't wear that like a badge, and I certainly don't speak that into general social discourse, especially because I'm working with a lot of people whose ancestors are from these lands here of the North. So I just want to bring this up because even in our good intention is to create more unity, and watching the horror that's playing out right now in places like Ukraine and what's happening to our indigenous communities and the environment and the Amazon, what's happening in the Middle East. How can we truly move forward unless we all humbly own our injustices and our offenses? We own our own, what they say, Watiko. Sometimes we get infested by anger or fear or jealousy or these different energies or spirits that kind of cloud us. But I just wanted to bring this up because for me, so much of the work we're focusing on, even here on Earth Day, which is kind of a day of celebration, is bringing into the discourse this idea of reconciliation, of healing the past so we can truly be present and move into the future. So I just wanted to share that spontaneously. And there are platforms. Again, we had Felipe here from Gaia Union. We have a lot of events. And right now, to mention, we have the Alliance for Regenerative Communities, which is an initiative of Earthstock. We just created it as a Facebook page and community and a Telegram community and a WhatsApp community just for people to be there and discourse, because part of the change we're in right now is we're moving beyond, hopefully, most of us here, the extractive, colonial-centric, imperialistic, hierarchical mindset, the profit over people mindset, and we're moving into a more compassionate, more collaborative awareness. So, as we do that, again, trying to clean up the past, but having these non-hierarchical platforms for people to meet each other, to engage and have discussions, like even today, encouraging people to communicate, because I think the more we connect, the more we find resonance, the more we find maybe our clan within the bigger tribe, within the greater hoop, within the greater hoop, within the global hoop is very important right now. And of course, a lot of that is focused on, for me, personally speaking, where does my water come from? Where does my food come from? Can I walk in more harmonious respect to the planet? And I'm certainly not perfect. I'm working on that. I mean, I get in a car, I fill it with gas, I drive. But the idea is that we all do what we can as we're making this great transition from an old paradigm to a new way of being. And the last thing I'll say about that, I know it's not always easy. And I know through the pandemic and all these things, a lot of people have lost loved ones. And even now, people who are supposed to be on the call today have lost people. So, I know there's a lot of pain and turmoil and this Koyaanisqatsi energy that the Hopis say, this world of chaos where everything is upside down, but it is bringing us through this process of purifying ourselves through the elements so that we can be worthy and understanding to embrace and embody a whole new way of being, which again, it's not really new. It's been expressed and embodied through many indigenous cultures, but as many of the indigenous communities I talk with, we need to all do it together right now. And we need to come back into the sacred circle. No one based on age, gender, religion, any of these things, age is really higher or lower, that we're all kind of equal in the eyes of the Creator. So I just wanted to share that because, again, as we started and having uh, our our prayer there with you, and thank you so much. That we have to keep coming back to that spiritual center. We have to keep coming back to nature. We have to keep coming back to the heart. Not this. This is a good tool, but can also be greatly deceiving. So that's all I had to really share. I'm sorry if I babbled on a little bit. I'll share a few practical links, but I'm really honored to be here on this Earth Day to share with all of you, but to weave together, like so much to do. So and if we all do it together, it makes people's loads lighter. And the last few days has been very powerful. Again, a day focused on the indigenous and the land, and a day for helping our brothers and sisters in Maui from the fire, and our family in Acapulco that were just devastated by the hurricane. And again, we have those videos up to see, because again, it's for me, like when I look around, it's like I see what time it is, and it comes down to the reality of, like, now is the time, and we are the ones, and if not us, who? We can't count on the broken government. We can't count on other people. We can't count on the United Nations is going to fix everything, or the World Economic Forum, or the World Health Organization. And I'm not saying that to invoke conspiracy or contention, or to put down any efforts, but the new world, this new humanity, is in all of our hands to put them together and to weave together. So that's always the message in these types of gatherings that just comes back. It's like getting to know who each other are, and how we can move forward. So with that, I wanted to check and see if Carmen is still here. I see that she's on the call, and I'm looking into the chat because I had asked her. I do want to show the video, because again, she's so good at her presentations. But I'm looking through the chat, and if you can repost. I also have other people coming on soon too that we're going to be presenting. So so we can't find the link. I did have the website, but I did want to go back to Carmen just for any closing thoughts that she had. And like I said, I did have Divina Foundation and CBD University website, which we've been showing over the course of your talk, but I wanted to kind of give you the respect if there's any last things you'd like to share. And what's unique about Carmen is she's bridging many worlds, and is very committed to our family and community in Latin America. And again, just doing incredible work. So if you'd like to share anything else, Carmen, before we move on, welcome back.
Either. So let me just tell you a little bit about what we're doing with Divina World Foundation. We launched in January, as I mentioned before, and our website is divinaworldfoundation.org. And the whole idea is that, sharing this sacred space and the vision and love, and creating a safer planet for future generations. This is what we're trying to do. We are operating currently under the fiscal sponsorship of Green to Gold, under their umbrella. But I'm just going to kind of read you our mission statement, if you don't mind. Divina World Foundation is focused on eradicating the disparity and lack of access to health and wellness resources for our Hispanic, Indigenous, Latino, and other often overlooked peoples, especially our veterans, our farm workers, our cancer warriors, our second chancers, which sometimes, within the underserved various communities, sometimes there's subgroups of folks that get even further from the resources. So that's what we're trying to do, is sort of bridge that. We're dedicated to acknowledging the needs, enhancing communication, and celebrating the lives and accomplishments of our most underserved communities through an overall holistic wellness 360 approach. The overarching goal is to embrace the use of the arts and technology and music and educational events, edutainment, like Michael Kamp said, to raise funds to build the global headquarters, and that is our Indigenous and Latino World Music Hall of Fame. We don't have a location yet, but it could be anywhere in the world. You know, we love this idea that music, food, culture, similar drive to save the planet and unify humanity. We would like to bring that all under that roof of the World Music Hall of Fame and celebrate the fact that music, any type of music that you can think of, comes from our indigenous cultures in one way or another. So that's the overarching, that's the big goal. We have other plans for the Indigenous Holistic Health and Wellness Family Festival. We want to continue to utilize and create a thriving, diverse, and inclusive community to raise awareness. We are launching our fundraising campaign today on Earth Day. We thought that was very appropriate. And we will continue to utilize the approach of exceptional live stream platforms such as Regen Media TV and Expand ITV and other medias, plus the EdTech resources to collaborate with other nonprofits, because we want to be able to disseminate and facilitate access to relevant resources and opportunities and services, and share the latest impactful information, and whenever possible, provide innovative products and toolkits through our community, through our network. So that's really it in a nutshell. You know, we are bringing together this community of I'm building on longtime relationships with world-renowned artists, musicians, and celebrities. That's where we feel we can make the most impact, is by inviting all the different communities to join us under this roof of the World Music Hall of Fame. So if you wouldn't mind sharing our information with the rest of your networks, it's divinaworldfoundation.org. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Carmen. That's it. You said that's it.
That's it.
Incredible. Wow. We're looking at the screen right now, calling all superheroes.
That's right.
Amazing. So I want to say, I know a couple of people had some connectivity issues. Luckily, as a jazz musician, I can improvise. So I do want to say in just a moment, we're going to go over to Kevin Fretz, and he is an incredible solutionary. Again, part of this weaving together is boots on the ground, heart centered, spiritually awake, helping to midwife the new paradigm and bring together and deploy these solutions. So in a minute, I'm going to have Kevin come on. I want to give him a minute. And I do want to mention everything that we're doing today. And we're going to kind of, I guess this is what you call the big drop today. Right now, there's several organizations that are deeply in communication about how do we work more effectively. Now, a lot of us have worked in our watersheds or our bioregions for years. So, which of course is really essential and important work. But what some of us are realizing is we've gotten an incredible skill set working from the bottom up, learning about bioregionalism, learning about how to work with the watershed, learning how to put together bioregional councils, how to deal with certain issues. And earlier today, we had, I don't know if he's still here, we had Bob Saunders on the call, who is a colleague of mine, has been doing amazing work. He was one of the people that helped to kick out Nestle's and Monsanto out of the Sacramento River watershed, which is an extremely valuable watershed and essential for California's agriculture, but also for human beings, right? Because we are part of the ecology. So part of what we've been working on in doing is helping to build out these various platforms and incentives and projects. A lot of them are in direct collaboration with Professor Alan Troutner, who will be on here probably in about 30 minutes. And again, I know it's a long day. Thank you, everyone. And this video will be available later. So if you have to leave, we want to be able to share that. But I just wanted to share with you, because imagine this, 54 years of being one of the co-founders of Earth Day, incubating over 300 and some odd nonprofits, working with patents on technology, and having thousands of contacts internationally, partnering with myself with a world of background and experience in production and events, and now with interns and volunteers and other organizations showing up, and now meeting people like you, Carmen, also connected to Alan, that we've been able to launch what we're calling Regenerative Media TV. And I wanted to share this today because this is a platform that not only are we going to have media, and it's accessible for all of you to share content to, but we're really focused on what makes a difference is that we're going to have curriculums that people can enroll in. We also are going to have products, and we're going to also have access to consultants and contractors in the regenerative field. So as you already know, you're weighing in pretty heavy right now with the whole knowledge and history and the work you're doing around. I mean, you wear so many hats. CBD University and Divina Foundation is just one. But anyways, we want to encourage people to check out Regen Media TV. And I'll put the link in the chat here in just a moment, because it's kind of like, many of you know Gaia TV. They used to be about yoga and health and many things, and then they kind of went into metaphysics and alien abductions and mystical secrets, and which is all great, but we're very focused on regenerative solutions. So I just wanted to share this for a moment. And as you can see, we have a whole series under there of places you can go for services, consultants, contractors, live events, which we were hoping to get working for today, but I need some tech support, hint, hint. And then also a whole series of products that we're going to be able to offer. But out of regenerative media, we've also birthed Regenerative Media Magazine with Nina, who showed up and did the Green to Gold Nuggets newsletter, and it ended up being 92 pages of content. So I'm, to give myself a little plug here, and the people we're collaborating and kind of what's being midwifed out of this weekend, and will continue to evolve towards Earthstock in August and beyond. We're really happy to announce completely non-hierarchical regenerative media, again, curriculums and platform that many of us can benefit and utilize. Now, just to step back, Eagle's vision, again, I said a lot of us have been working in our own bioregions and watersheds, and what we're realizing is there needs to be some sort of coherent, collaborative, co-created, non-hierarchical framework to really move things forward. So I'm going to share this really briefly. So over the next couple weeks, I've been in communication again with Alan and a dozen other players around the world about starting Regeneration Global, dedicated to regeneration, education, innovation, and conservation. And the idea is and we already have people on each of the 7 continents, and then other people like in Puerto Rico, in Hawaii, who all want to bring forward a major collaborative land project and the potential of a council focusing on how do we work more effectively and connect globally. And this is very much connected to the work also that Gaia Union is doing. And then lastly, and then we're going to move on, our first big initiative that we actually did before we even branded, because we don't want to just keep throwing out names and brands and ideas. Like, we're letting nature's intelligence guide us to what is supposed to happen in this field of co-creation in the quantum moment. So before Regeneration Global was really birthed, and this is just starting, we did the campaign Build Back Green, as a response of all these solutionaries we know of, like, okay, Maui just burned to the ground, what we're going to do. And part of that was about connecting with people, Synergy Agricultural Products through Rachel Linden and Kevin Fretz, who's going to be on the call in a moment. They did a huge effort of soil remediation, deploying life cubes for emergency shelters retrofitted with solar power and water purification, bringing in other sorts of donations, and also working with green tech that is doing a lot around greenhouses and has technologies around food security. So again, there's a lot happening, and to get to kind of the heart of it, it's really, we're working to weave together at Earthstock this great summit of people coming together, either in person, preferably, but virtually if we have to bring together all of our platforms, our networks, our solutions, and our superpowers to have the discussion about, how can we all support each other and how can we move forward. And for me, that's what I kind of call sacred reciprocity. If I'm just here promoting what I'm doing and you're there promoting what you're doing, and we get off the call and nothing's accomplished, what have we really accomplished? So the idea is no cat herding, gathering the lions and lionesses at the table, creating this regeneration global roundtable, and being able to streamline implementation and support of projects, but even most importantly, and this is what we're finding right now, by bundling our causes together, it's getting a lot more interest in major funding and support, which will water all, it's like everyone's watering their branch. My tree's not bearing fruit. What's happening? I keep watering my branch. I see a leaf. The idea is, if we all come together and water the root of this tree of life, which is prevalent in many cultures, and Chief Phil just did a post about tree of life, I mean, incredible, then the whole tree flourishes, the whole tree bears the fruit of potential. So again, I've not wanted to talk about stuff I'm doing directly today, but more create a platform, which my job now is just to be a bridge builder, but I want to share that. And with that, if he's ready to go, I want to introduce a major solutionary, like many of you, doing great work. And thank you for getting on the call. I want to welcome Kevin Fretz from, he's with many organizations, with Patriot Green and Green Earthology. So welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Michael, and hi, everybody, and happy Earth Day to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Anyways, a little bit of history on me, and when I decided to become an environmentalist was at 17 years old, living on a small farm in Canada. I was poisoned on the farm. Our garden got poisoned and our well got poisoned with chemicals and sewage. That led to hospitalization, 1 year of bed rest, and about 20 years of recovery. So kind of got passionate about wanting to get to the root of pollution as a career, because it kind of ruined my career path of what I really wanted to do, which was to be either a policeman or go in the military, because I had family members that did it. But being raised on the farm, I liked working with my hands. And so ultimately in 1991, I decided I would seek out solutions to pollution by going and working in waste management, because waste is generally the root of all causes of pollution. It's solids, liquids, or gases. So I was living in Ontario, and I left Ontario and I went to British Columbia, Vancouver, and I landed a position with then the second largest waste and recycling company in the world, which was Browning Ferris Industries, or BFI. We were in 18 countries. They had, I believe back then, 32,000 employees, a pretty large company, second to Waste Management. So lucky for me, when I went to Vancouver, I learned all about recycling, paper, plastic, glass, metals. I worked in the systems division. So that meant I had to understand how to go to companies that were producing waste and put systems in place so that they could divert those materials from landfill, bring them back into remanufacture and recycling. So while I was there in 1991, I was asked to join them to put a pilot program together to see if we could divert organics from the landfills, food waste, green materials, pretty much everything organic. Worked for them for 3 years, put together systems for restaurants. The Vancouver International Airport was one of my clients. And I would say that the program was a success. It was, we do things differently now than we did back then. It worked, but it was kind of messy. Rotten food waste in bins isn't such a good thing when the trucks, miss pickup, and you have flies and birds and rodents and all those sorts of problems. So we have a different approach to doing it nowadays than we did back then, but it did work. And then in 1993, I had an opportunity to immigrate to the United States permanently with the same company in Irvine, California. And the reason they wanted me to go to Irvine was because the company had a contract with the city of Los Angeles to divert green materials from the landfills. The landfills were filling up and closing in California, so they couldn't open new ones. They couldn't burn the waste. So they said, well, we need to divert recyclables, and organics is 30% of what's going in. So they purchased the Wilbur Ellis Soils Division in Irvine, and I went, and I landed a position with them, and I walked in. I thought I would be doing what I was doing in Vancouver, and they said, no, you're going to work with these ag chemists, and you guys are going to do product development, marketing, and sales. And I said, I don't know anything about composting. And they said, the truth is, none of you do. You're all pioneering this right now. This was before certified organic showed up. That was 4 years after this. So we really were pioneering what became the organics industry. So I worked with them for a year, and what I saw was very disturbing, because the materials coming into the facilities, we had 3 of them, they were contaminated with everything that you can imagine: hypodermic needles, bleach bottles, oil cans, glass, dead animals, diapers, everything was in this material. In addition to that, it was yard waste. And back then, they really didn't think about what people were spraying on their yards, but we certainly know what they were spraying on their yards, including Roundup. So the material, in my opinion, was hazardous waste. And they had a lot of problems. They had some lawsuits. They had a fire. They wiped out a nursery because the material was toxic. It was kind of a mess. So after 1 year, they decided to close the division and offered me a transfer to Los Angeles to the solid waste division. And I said, no, thank you. And they said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, well, clearly we have failed. And the problem isn't going away. And if I don't continue my work, that's kind of when I realized what I was supposed to do with my life. I realized if somebody didn't step up and create a higher standard, then parks and farms would be getting contaminated with hazardous waste, because it wasn't just BFI. There were other companies involved in managing and diversion of waste. So I opened a research and development company in about 1995. And the mission was to create higher standards, protect our communities, protect our farms, become a clean soil standard, because there is no clean soil standard in the United States. There's clean water and no clean soil standards. So I set out a mission to create a clean soil standard. I went and worked with independent companies that were making clean materials, because they were accessing arborist materials, which generally didn't have pesticides and herbicides applied to them. Worked with the Ministry of Environment in Canada, because the EPA standards were the lowest of the G7. And I wanted a competitive advantage to go into the marketplace with a new brand that would be better than everyone else. And I knew if I worked with clean feedstocks going into the process, that I could have the best product in the marketplace. So the Ministry of Environment in Canada helped me. I adopted their standards. I worked with independent laboratories, because I had to study agronomic chemistry back then. So we started setting standards. Then I went to architects, landscape architects, and farms, and I started educating them and helping them to write specification guidelines for application of the finished products, the composts. And we made potting mixes and turf dressings and all various different products. Helped the state of California to write their original specification guidelines for erosion control for mulch, because we were just experimenting with things back then. So it evolved over the years. I ended up, I received a phone call one day from a chemical company. That's my consulting company, Green Earthology. So I got a call one day from a chemical company, and I was kind of taken back. They said, we tested your material, of course, and I was waiting for there to be a problem. And they said it tested to have the best biological diversity of anything we've tested. And at that time, I hadn't studied food web science, but I was intrigued with what they said. And they said, well, we are setting up a new division in Las Vegas, and we would like you to come out and give a lecture on what you do. And Dr. Elaine Ingham was there as well. She was one of the lecturers. So I got up and I gave my lecture about quality standards and so on, like I've just told you guys. And I met Dr. Ingham, and I listened to her lecture, opened my eyes to a whole area that we had been missing out on, and that was the science of nature and understanding what is living below our feet, the food web, the bacteria, the fungi, the protozoa, the nematodes, the worms, all those things. So I started studying her work, and Helena Chemical, which is a chemical company, they actually started carrying our compost products. I supplied all the major hotels in Vegas, worked with golf courses out there. A lot of my friends, my environmentalist friends said, what are you doing working with a chemical company? And I said, because they will. That's why, because we need to transition them away from the chemicals, which are toxic, to things that are safe, non-toxic, and heal the planet. If it's about making money, then we'll let them make money, but we need them to move away from the old into the new. And so I ran the R&D company, and I funded all the research and development for over 20 years. The company was ultimately absorbed by a manufacturing company who's the largest composter in California, Agerman Soils. And I went out and I started doing consulting because I wanted to share the work and the knowledge that I had accumulated over that time and help other manufacturers. And ultimately, this led to me coming to Texas 2 years ago. So I've been doing this now for 32 years. So I came to Texas and we founded a new company, Patriot Green Products, because we wanted to ensure that we were producing a product that was superior to everything that's in the marketplace, and at the same time, give back to the communities. I developed 3 facilities. I actually designed them and had them built, and I got the permitting for them in California. And I thought, you know, we need to have our own facility, and it needs to be manned by the best of the best, people that are disciplined. Because generally speaking, in the commercial composting industry nationwide, I mean, those companies are generally owned by trash companies. They're not environmental. They fill out the paperwork, but I would say that they don't generally follow very strict protocols. So it's very loose, I would say. So we're not. We're very strict about what we do and what we send back out into our farms and, you know, into our cities and parks. So we founded Patriot Green Products, and the company has a mission, and the mission is hiring the disadvantaged, giving a hand up to those who have sacrificed for us, our veterans, first responders, and adults with disabilities. Those are the type of people that we want to encourage to join us and join us in a new fight. You know, we're turning swords into plowshares now. Now we're going to fight to save the planet. So beyond all of that, we are now creating sustainability programs for cities. We can literally go into cities and completely over all their organics and manage it for them and convert it all into consumables for them. And when we produce the end products, which include biochars, we convert their parks and their green space to becoming living systems that mimic nature. So they now reduce their water consumption by 50 to 60%, creating some nice budget surpluses for them there. And they're able to eliminate the chemicals. We can manage all the green space now 100% regeneratively, and they end up with huge budget surpluses. So that's what we do. And thank you for allowing me to come on and introduce myself, Michael. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. And I did catch a little bit in the end about what Carmen was saying about the entertainment. And I just wanted to add to that. Prior to coming to the United States when I was younger, I did have 2 years where I owned an entertainment company in Toronto, and I didn't stay in it, but I have friends. One of them managed U2 for many years with Live Nation. And I met with them one time and I said, you know, I'd like to do a concert and raise money to help solve some of the problems that we are all facing with the earth right now, which really is pollution. So I said, I had an idea. We suggested that we start a concert series called Green Stock, sort of like Woodstock. Well, you guys have Earth Stock. And my thoughts were that we would have a concert, we would bring in performers to, all of the top performers from various different, genres to perform. And we could have concert goers buy tickets and they get stock in the corporation or however you would set it up. So essentially people come, they get entertained, and they leave with a stock certificate at the end of the day. And you should be able to go raise a lot of money.
Well, it's amazing you're saying that, Kevin, because he wasn't able to be on the call today, and this is why, not in shameless self-promotion, I keep pointing people to Regen Media TV, because we're working right now with Adam in Mexico. He was one of the top producers for MTV. He also worked with Live Nation, and we're talking about Earth Stock in 4 months, about just finding the right partnership with the right artist. And there's been conversations around that. And I know he's planning a concert this winter, but again, this is where, and again, I want to go back to it because it becomes so relevant. I just want to go back to what I was sharing earlier, because what's happening is there is a group of people who are assembling with coherence and resonance of vision and skill sets to be able to do something amazing. So the idea as it stands right now, I'm going to share this. Regeneration Global, a non-hierarchical platform. So the conversations with Adam Stewart, he's created it's called Karma Hub. It's a volunteer token, because in the entertainment industry, so many people were donating so much time to help support these events, but no one ever got compensated. So again, he is a producer. He's been with in the industry for decades. He's part of the conversation. He's not here today, but if you go on Regen Media, we have an in-depth interview with him. And he's one of the people right now, exactly what you said, that we're trying to figure how to do events that water the collaborative root. And I know a lot of people are extremely busy, but how with a very small, efficient council of people, which already has contacts in 7 continents. And we're actually going to have in just a moment Haidai, who's in Bali, show up and talk about regenerative leadership. And we also have Steve Haggart here from Australia, who was consulting on the Damanhur project and has decades of work. So it wasn't necessarily architected this way, but what's happening right now, even through Earth Day and Earth Stock, we're weaving together, we're co-creating, we're creating coherence, we're creating follow through, and everybody bringing their skill set and superpower to the table. And, again, just in the few people on this call, we already have, 200 major solutionaries that all bringing our skill sets together can accelerate the success of what we're doing. And we were talking a little bit about bioregionalism and watersheds, which is important. But what's really important, and I'll just show this really quick, we just did Build Back Green. We raised funds. We did a remediation effort. You were involved in that through Patriot Green and also Synergy Ag. Of course, Rachel Linden from Green Lifestyles Network connected the dots. But again, this regenerative roundtable is definitely coming together. So I don't want to take up too much time about that. But again, these are in a couple weeks the discussions we're having and the plans that we're making. But you did hit the nail on the head, and I want to add to that. So I know, we have people on the call right now that are in Asia and Australia, and I know it's late, and I want to just be respectful for their time. And then we're going to finish big because we got Professor Alan Tratner from Green to Gold coming on live from Earth Day in Maui. We also have Levin Huang, who's between Hawaii and Taiwan, coming on with Indigenous Bridges. So we have just about an hour left, but we're going to continue to crescendo as we let the intelligence of the moment kind of speak to what we're all doing, and also co-creating.